Hey, welcome to Band Advice TV. Today, I want to talk a little bit about getting robbed and how we can try to avoid that from happening. So, my name's Mark V, and this is Tips, Tricks, Giggles, and Stuff. Hey everyone, how's it going? Take a look at this picture here. See that nice white trailer? Yeah, that belongs to some friends of mine and their band. It's packed full of all their gear that they take to all their gigs almost every weekend. They've been doing this for, 15 years, maybe even a little longer than that. The only thing that's wrong with this picture is that red truck that's pulling it doesn't belong to either of them. Yeah, they lost all their gear this week. Somebody came in, found the trailer, hooked it up, and drove off with it. This happens all the time. And if you're a musician long enough, there's a good chance that you're going to get ripped off at some point in time as well. It's just, we're prime targets for it. Our gear is not cheap, and it's easy to move. It really is. I mean, there's all kinds of, you could sell it on eBay, on Craigslist, pawn shops, all that. It's easy to move, and sometimes we make it too easy for them to get as well. So, tell you a little story about me. There was two incidents when my car has been broken into, and I've had stuff stolen out of it. First one, I went to a jam session one night with some friends. Afterwards, I decided to stop at my local watering hole, have a beer or two. I wasn't really busy that night, and I was talking to the bartender. He's asked what I was up to that night. I said, I was just jamming some music with some friends. Well, apparently somebody overheard that conversation, and then about an hour later, when I went out to my car to leave, window was smashed in, and my guitar that was sitting in the floorboard of the back seat of the car that was covered up was gone. Yeah, never found that one again. The cops came, took a report, but I didn't have my serial numbers written down, so, my fault. Not that would have done any good anyway. Fast forward a couple of years, I had was playing in an acoustic duo. Uh, we were doing a gig one night. I had brought out my small PA system to go with us. It was just a couple of small PA speakers and my guitar and a little power amp. I had the guitar and the amp in the trunk of my car. I had the speakers were in the back seat of my car, and they were black. They were not easily identifiable. And it was late at night, so when I came home, I got the power amp and the guitar out of the trunk of my car. Went inside my apartment. I didn't think twice about it because it was pretty late. Well, next morning I wake up. There's a hole in my window. The door is partially ajar, and not only were the two PA speakers that were in the back gone, so was my work cell phone and my work laptop that was in a backpack that was also on the back seat. So, valuable lesson. Don't leave anything in the car. That should be rule number one. Unpack your stuff every night. Uh, and I know it sucks. Last thing you want to do after 6 hours of dealing with the smoky bars and stuff like that is to come home at 3 in the morning and have to unload all your gear. But it's a lot better than losing it. Trust me on that one. So, don't leave anything in your car. Now, if you do have a trailer, and for some reason you can't get it unpacked, it's not practical, you don't have anybody to help you or whatever. A couple tricks that you could do. Number one, get the padlock. It's kind of a circular one, and it's designed so that you can't get bolt cutters on there. So do that. If you can, keep the trailer hooked up to your vehicle for that night. That way, it won't be as easy for somebody to get in there and unhook the trailer and put it on their own. Be sure you have a lock on there as well, and back it up against the wall or something so that that door is not accessible against the garage door or against the wall of the building or whatever, just so that they can't get back there and try to pry off that lock and open the stuff up. So uh, if you can't leave it hooked up to your car, then get a trailer hitch ball, shove that thing up there, and then put that padlock on it as well. It'll make it more difficult for them to get in there. But you got to have the right lock. Like I said, it's got to be one that can't be opened by bolt cutters. Another thing to be aware of is the stalkers. There are people that will actually case out bands. They will go to the venue and watch the band, hang out, uh, kind of watch them as they're loading the gear, and then follow them home, follow them to wherever their trailer is. And once they have that knowledge, all you do is wait for you to go to bed, and they can break in your stuff. That's what happened with the second robbery that I have, where they broke into my car. They followed me home. They had to because there was no way anybody would have known that I was carrying gear unless they were at the gig. Uh, in fact, what happened to here's another story that happened to another friend of mine. He was into racing, so he had a big trailer. He kept all his race car stuff in. It was parked at his house. He woke up one morning and somebody broke into it and rummaged around in there. They didn't take much, and he couldn't figure out for the life of him why they would target his trailer. Then it dawned on him one of his neighbors plays in a band. Okay, so apparently they stalked that guy home. They stalked the musician home, got the general vicinity, saw the big white trailer there, says, aha, that's got to be it. And they came back later and tried to break in and steal him. Much to their surprise, it's just a bunch of wrenches and half built carburetor. But so they will stalk you home. So if you got to be constantly aware of your surroundings, and if it looks like somebody's following you, try taking a different route than you normally take. See if they follow you. Make some I'm not saying like try to do any sort of really evasive Dukes of Hazzard kind of maneuvers to get out of there. But, change the route up and stuff like that. And if this car's still following you, then you've probably got somebody that's tailing you. And you probably want to get to some place that is well lit and well populated. And hopefully chase that guy off. Guy or girl. No gender bias on this one. Another thing to think about is, with this day and age where you can get your car wrapped, decals and cool stuff on there. Yeah, you would think that it'd be really awesome to go ahead and decorate up your van or your van or your trailer and stuff, to really promote your band. Problem is that what you're actually advertising is to all the crooks out there that, hey, why don't you follow me to find out where all this really cool gear lives, and then you can come back at night when I'm asleep. So you want to be as inconspicuous as possible. Another situation to be aware of when you're at your gigs is when you're loading in and loading out. There was another band here in Tulsa that I used to go hang out with, and lead singer and guitar player was actually loading in for one of his gigs. I guess he walked in with probably his pedal board or some equipment and stuff, just in and out really quick. Well, in that really quick time, somebody went in the back of his truck there and stole his very expensive guitar. So that's a lesson hard learned. So you can always, take something out, lock your car up, go back in, come back out, unlock your car, or just have somebody stand there and watch it. Just, get one of your buddies to say, look, I'm going to run this stuff in and out. Do you mind standing here, keeping an eye on stuff? So that will help mitigate that. Golly. There's just so many ways that you can get ripped off. But really the best thing is to try to not let on where you live. Because even if you take your stuff in, when you go off to work or something like that, it doesn't take much for somebody to break into your apartment or your house and rob you as well. So, don't divulge any information as to where you reside. Don't divulge any information that you are a musician to anybody that doesn't need to know. Because if you're a musician, you got gear, they're going to want that gear. And I'm just going to leave you with one parting thought that this is the thing that really tears you up. Chances are that the $2,000 Martin guitar that got ripped off out of the back of your car, that crackhead that took it probably got no more than $100 for it. And they don't care. They just need their next fix, and they will sell it to whatever they want. And there are people out there that'll pay them that little, that'll only offer that little because they know it's a stolen guitar, they know it's stolen equipment, and you get $100 or nothing. So anyway, just some stories from the road, some things to think about as a musician, and like I said, if you have any suggestions or stories that you can tell as well to kind of help out other people and possibly save them the heartache, please leave them below. Let me know your story, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video on it. Anyway, till next time, I'm Mark V. And this is Tips, Tricks, Giggles, and Stuff.